that is too bright. If I'm going to use one of these on my camera, I should definitely use one on the camera that I fly around the sky. Let's talk about a variable ND, the only one I use when flying my Mavic Air 2. Hi, hello! It's George Michael with DroneDJ. So what is an ND filter if you're someone that does more drone stuff and less camera stuff? Well, it's a way to stop light from getting to your sensor and therefore letting you expose using proper ratios, so shutter speeds that don't need to be cranked. If you crank that shutter speed up to 1/1500 or 1/1000, you're going to get very staccato, choppy footage. You usually want your shutter speed to live at the 180-degree rule, shutter angle. So the shutter speed equivalent to that is roughly 1/48 when you're shooting at 24 frames per second, or 1/60 if you're doing 30 frames per second. So shutter speed should roughly be double your frame rate when you're just trying to get that normal amount of motion blur. So how do you stop that and still get proper exposure? You use an ND filter, just like I'm doing right now. There's a lot of white in this frame, we've got a bright sun going on, it's the middle of the day, but I'd still like to be as shallow at depth of field. So we put on the ND filter. And yes, the Fly More combo for the Mavic Air 2 does come with its own set of ND filters. However, these are all fixed NDs. The biggest hassle is, while I can screw and unscrew this one right here whenever I please, doing that with your drone in the air is a lot more annoying. Enter variable ND filters. The one I'm using from Polar Pro is a 2 to 5 stop variable ND. And you just click it on the drone once, and for most scenarios, you can just leave it on. You can lower the drone to your height and just adjust the dial on the thing. It's way easier than needing to land the drone, swap out the filter, put it back in the air and get going. It's definitely a lot faster and it's less to carry in your kit. Sometimes it's hard to see on the footage how much the ND is actually doing. So here's a quick example of something that would be completely blown out. You'd see nothing but white. But when you've got the ND between 2 and 5, you regain a lot of that detail and actually can expose your image properly. Scenarios a variable ND would help you in are ones where the light conditions change a lot and ones where the light conditions are different depending on where you look. An example when we're flying drones is constantly top-down light is a lot different than forward-facing light. With this variable ND, you could use the same filter at 2, that would be great for a middle of the day looking down shot, and crank it up to 5 when you want to go towards sun and get a properly exposed image. What good is talking about a variable ND if I don't show you all the examples? So, let's get in the air. Without the ND filter on, footage looks pretty good. It's a regular sunny day. But you can see that there's a little less texture when you look at the second shot with the ND filter on, and a little less color pop. And these also help with that, not just reducing how much light hits the sensor. It might be hard to tell which shot is which, but when you look at them back to back, you can really see where there's more color information and where I don't have to compensate so much for the shutter, which gives it that overly digital, overly sharpened look. The no ND filter stuff is gonna look good, you're used to it, but with the ND filter on, it's just that extra level of cinematic and quality footage when you're exposing as you should be. An ND filter will let you deal with very bright sources of light better than just cranking your shutter could. So again, we don't want to overcrank our shutter. We do want to change the amount of light hitting our sensor with ND filters. Some tech I'd love to see a company come out with is an electronically controlled variable ND filter so that I don't have to lower the drone to add it. I know it exists in Sony cameras and other ones, just a quick electronic ND to get you most of the way there. I think next DJI drones would really benefit from having something like that in there. All this footage was captured using this variable ND. With the light reflections coming off these large glass buildings and the general nature of sunset, it was challenging, but I was able to start at 5 and go down to 2 as the sun set. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button, subscribe to DroneDJ, and hit the bell so you can get notifications for all future uploads. If you'd like to check out more of my work, I am George. I'm live and off across all platforms. Thanks for watching.